Welcome in, Monday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. The Rebels and the Gators, 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central from Gainesville, Florida on Saturday. That's next up for Ole Miss, 2 wins away from a likely college football playoff berth. Look at the weekend that was. We'll look at lines for the next week. And then I know you guys are very interested in an Associated Press poll that came out yesterday. Whatever else is going on here with you, starting off the week, a full week on MPW Digital. So hope you had a good bye week, good weekend, and good to be with you here today. A show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. You can get Sweet Daddy's locations, ribs, pulled pork, desserts, plenty of options there. Clean convenience store, fill up with gas, in and out here in Oxford. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
I just read a headline. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just, my God, something you posted about this weekend.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We are in the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join this week on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Related to teeth gnashing and whatnot? Is that what you're?
No,
okay.
It's they. Ole Miss won their bye week and are a legit and all.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, you won the bye week.
One.
I don't know how you would know that if you're not around the program on a daily basis, but sure.
They didn't lose the bye week.
Well, that is true.
They did not lose on the bye week.
They did not lose the bye week.
I'll just knock this out of the way here. Yes, marathon week. Thanks for everybody talking there. Appreciate the thoughts and whatnot. I don't know yet, if just being completely real, because this is going to be about my mental health on that day. I do not know whether I'm making the tracker public or private. People asking how to follow me. I don't know where I stand on that. I'll just be frank and go ahead and head that off here on this Monday morning, that I have not made a decision whether I'm going to lock that down or leave that open to be followed on Sunday morning. I don't know.
You're going to be really nervous. You're not going to sleep very well. If anything adds to your mental angst, it's that you can eliminate. You should eliminate it, in my opinion.
And there is the chance that something in you is going, there's people tracking, you might pick it up, you might get out of how you feel.
Yes.
There is that possibility. So I appreciate it. I know it's all in good nature, but
I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. Yeah, that's not.
I just wouldn't do it. There's no reason to do it. That's something else to be thinking about. You're going to have a lot of stuff. Trust me, I've done it. You're going to have a lot of stuff on your mind. It's new. It's not it's not a place you've ever run before.
It's a difficult environment. Yeah.
It's a course you've never run before. There's going to be a lot of people around you. You're going to be having to fight the urge to try to keep up with people, even though there's no reason to try to keep up with a random stranger.
Yeah.
You will be.
Yeah, Bill from Topeka is not about my day, whatever that's going on.
You'll be already watching times and monitoring how you feel, and you don't know what the weather's going to do. All those things. I just wouldn't. If that's going to be something that you're going, oh well, Reb 1742 is following. There's no reason to do that to yourself.
Yeah, I was even contemplating. I told you this a couple weeks ago, changing my watch tracking to only show necessary things and not even seeing some of my pacing and stuff. To not even. I know some of it I need to make sure I don't go too fast, but.
Right.
Beyond that, I really think I'm even going to try to knock down some of the information on my watch that I normally do.
You're also there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be it's going to be different than what you've done before.
Mm-hmm.
Even
anything small,
even running like 10Ks or something. It's completely different than like the double decker run or the Batesville run. Or, I mean, I'm not criticizing those runs at all. Those fun. I've done both of them. There
are 32,000 people running this race.
It's just a different. You're going to get in the corrals, or whatever they call them, and there's going to be a lot of like just getting to where you're supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, I just wouldn't fool with it.
Yeah.
I'd just do my thing.
And I think the last, I don't, I mean, I wouldn't have changed it. There's some reasons why I picked this course, and I still think it's the way to go. But it's a little different terrain than I thought when I first researched it. Number one, when I've really deep dove, because now it's on my mind constantly, basically. And then two, and this is a small thing, I think, and I'm going to try to avoid it, but I don't like how. So the first half of the race, we're getting off this, I promise, in 90 seconds. The first half of the race is through the city and all the historical stuff, and you'll be watching and people, and you still are fresh. The back half is an out and back down the river. And what I don't like about it is while you're on the out, you've got people passing you right beside you coming back that are almost done. And I think when I have 10 miles left and I'm watching people stream by me going the other way, there's something about that I got to make sure is not mentally taxing. It's kind of...
It won't be taxing because they will look different than you.
Yeah.
The people that you'll see finishing as you start out on that are people who are...
Because they're literally an hour and a half ahead, whatever it is, ahead of me or whatever at that point.
They're almost professional runners.
Mm-hmm.
So you really won't notice them.
Yeah. Yes, they sort you by start time about your estimated finish, Avery. That is correct. You're in corrals with your estimated companions along the race.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which corral? Are you in the 420 corral or?
I think I went like 440 on the corral, something like that was what it was. They've got odd options there on those. Like they didn't separate them the way I would have thought they would have. And my mind was, if you're gonna tend one way or the other, go slower. Don't try to keep up with somebody.
Well, the good news is in that corral, you probably won't be able to get off to a super fast start because there'll be a lot of traffic,
a ton of people,
and so that actually ends up working to your benefit. But again, that's that deal where you look down after 5 miles and you're behind your pace. And you go, oh shit, and it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
So there's no reason to do that.
And I do have a good mind frame there. I do not care how long it takes. Like I don't like that's not something that is not focusing on this. If it takes 4:35, all of a sudden if it takes 5:50, I don't care. Right. I mean, it is what it is.
It's the same medal.
I'm not beating the Kenyans.
No,
I'm not beating the Kenyans.
No. Hopefully you'll get to see them because it almost will make you laugh.
Yeah, there is the corral at the front that just simply is called Elite Corral.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, y'all go.
Oh, and they will.
They take off and don't stop.
No, they go fast.
Yeah.
And mind-boggling. You probably won't see them take off.
No.
But it's incredible.
Yeah, I think last year it will be one under 210. I mean, it's 205, so whatever that is what it will be.
Yeah.
The marathon will be one at.
Yeah.
So. Yes, you're right. With that attitude, I have no chance of beating the Kenyans. That's a good point. That's
Your attitude will have no impact on your ability to beat the Kenyans. I mean, you can go in there thinking you're Superman. Reality will strike quickly.
Yeah, God, no. I have no prayer of breaking 4 hours. None. Not even not a chance in hell. So that's not even on my realm. You probably were a little frustrated on your first one because you almost did. I guess you're glad to finish, but when you're that close, I think I would have had a minute of, hell, I could have probably found a way to shave off 125 seconds. You went to the bathroom.
I had to stop and pee.
Yeah.
And I had to stop and pee in the first 7 miles. And so there was I kept waiting to find a porta potty with no line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd run another mile.
Oh.
And finally I got to where
you got to go.
Yeah. I mean.
And mentally you need to go.
Well, I needed to go. And so I was either going to have to go wait in line for a porta potty or I was going to have to run with wet pants the rest of the way. And I chose the porta potty.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I'm glad that I did. But yes, I would have gone under 4 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a lot of football going on. We'll probably talk a little bit about this on Henry's Guys on Thursday because it'll be right before I leave, and we're always looking for stuff at that point. But again, thank you. I haven't made that decision, but I'm trending towards shutting some of that down just for my own sanity there on Sunday. It does start at 7:00 Eastern though, for anybody estimating kind of when I'll be done. I assume I'll take the first steps around 7:20 Eastern, somewhere in there. Probably when the waves kind of get going.
Probably before that. Okay. It goes pretty quick.
So
like probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're probably 5 minutes after. In all seriousness, about 5 minutes after the Kenyan start, you'll start.
Okay. They move them through pretty quick.
It goes fast. Yeah. Okay. Because they take. I mean, within 10 seconds, you know that you're never catching them.
Yeah.
ever.
Weekend that was, Ole Miss had a pretty good bye week as far as results around the country. I know
won it. They won the bye
week. You're right. Obviously, one of the couple of the keys, because they're playing Florida. We'll get into this, and we'll get into lines. We'll get some stuff. I don't really know how to organize this necessarily, but Florida knocks off LSU. They end that 19 version game thing that could have gotten LSU into Atlanta that was going on there to steal a bid. That ended very quickly because Florida won the game. And
do I get an I told you so on that one?
Well, you were almost certainly going to be right, but we got to fill 90 minutes, so we filled 8 minutes of it with said scenario because it only took one upset. It was like, okay, well,
yeah, I know,
all right,
but like you read that whole list, and I just went, that's not happening.
Just estimate the final 4 weeks of the football season, and this is all that has to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
all these games have to go right.
Like it was this. I was like, well, that's no, and it didn't, and
because LSU themselves could not keep it even going.
Well, I mean, I literally wrote that they're on quit watch, and so everybody's like, how are they going to make the tournament? Well, they're not going to make the tournament.
So okay,
anyway, sorry,
no, you're fine. There's two things that. And I understand. I know this really, really matters. I know you're 2 wins away from a playoff. I know you're nervous. I know you're anxious. I know you're excited. And discussing all these probabilities and situations is supposed to be the fun part of this because you're actually in it and you're in the picture.
You guys are not having fun. I've watched this. I've observed the message board. I have listened to people. The few interactions that I have with people is nothing but angst. It's just.
You said a female was frustrated in Kroger.
I had to go to Kroger yesterday. I went to the gym. I had to go to Kroger. I needed to get gas, and then I needed to go buy charcoal. So I went to Kroger to buy charcoal. Came back out. I was in the parking lot, and this young lady, probably nearing the end of her college experience or even in grad school, that age.
So early 20s.
Had on her Ole Miss sweatshirt. She was on the phone, and she was having a great degree of angst about the Associated Press Top 25 poll that had come out, specifically
the Georgia Bulldogs.
And I couldn't help but overhear because she was very angst-ridden.
You didn't have your AirPods in on cancellation mode.
I didn't. I should have.
Okay.
Very upset about Georgia moving ahead of Ole Miss.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
In the AP poll. And she said, everyone's trying to keep us out. And I was like, to myself, literally, you're in. No one's trying to keep you out. You're in.
You didn't interrupt her and tell her that?
No.
You didn't tap her on the shoulder?
I just wanted,
say, ma'am.
I just wanted to go home.
I do this for a living. I just want to give you a little heads up, okay?
Like,
want to make your day better.
You have your anxiety about running the marathon. I have my anxiety about going to Kroger. So no. I was just.
You'll run the marathon for me if I go to Kroger for you the rest of the year and just bring you the groceries.
I would consider that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
just very upset. And but I did. I kind of wanted to go, no, you're fine. I'd had to break up a message board fight earlier in the day with, this is supposed to be fun. You should be having fun.
It's a little angst-filled right now.
But here's the thing, and I'm just going to get right to the bottom line on this.
Okay.
I said this on McCready and Siskey. I'm not arrogant enough at all to assume that you all watch every episode of McCready and Siskey or any episode of McCready and Siskey. But I said on there last week, if the football gods came down and told me one piece of information and one piece of information only, and it was Ole Miss is not in the playoffs, you'd be on your own this week because my ass would be in Vegas. And I would be hammering the Florida money line.
Yes. Because you think it's not a matter of the committee ever leaving them out. It's that they lost the game at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on Saturday afternoon.
I would be hammering. Yeah. I mean, literally hammering the Florida money line.
Yes.
I don't even know what that money line is, but I would be just putting every ounce of capital that I have on it. If that's all that the football gods told me was, hey, Neal, Ole Miss doesn't make the playoffs, and then they just went poof. Like we swear on all things. This is a true fact. I would go, oh my God, they lost at Florida. I'm gonna go to Vegas and I'm getting rich.
Yeah.
I would never consider, their resume. Look, I think they have I've been over the resume thing enough times where I feel like I say it in my sleep. Your resume's fine. It's not great because you have a really nasty thing on the resume. You have a bad loss. It's a bad loss. I hear people like, well, it was in September. It doesn't matter. The totality, it's a bad loss. You have a bad non-con, which I don't think really matters.
That doesn't matter.
But you have this horrific home loss. And it's bad, but you've kind of made up for it. You have
the second best win in the country against Georgia.
You have a really good win on the road at South Carolina, where you won by
every day.
25 points, and it looks like they're headed to 9-3. They're playing like a house of fire.
Yeah, they're good.
The young quarterback,
played well.
Chris Clark and them hyped him up, and I get it.
Yeah,
he's
took a minute, but he got there.
Well, he was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be
because look, it's the other way of this. You get full credit for Carolina, even though Sellers wasn't Sellers yet.
Yeah,
he was still 3 weeks away from being Lenore Sellers, but you get full credit for beating the hell out of them that day.
Absolutely. You beat an Arkansas team by 32 that beat Tennessee in the same building.
Yeah. That Texas sort of scuffled with on Saturday.
I didn't see it, but they
don't put anybody away.
Right.
They just don't look worth a damn.
So it's fine. You have some stuff on your resume. You've got an 18-point win over Georgia. Your loss to LSU, it's fine. It's fine. From a resume standpoint, it's whatever.
It's fine.
But you have a bad loss that when you compare that resume to Georgia's resume, even though Georgia lost to you, collective resume, it's kind of like, theirs is probably a little better.
They have a win over Texas. They have a win over Clemson.
They lost.
That's 2 top 20s.
They lost at Alabama. They lost at Ole Miss.
Their 2 losses are far better than your 2 losses.
Yeah.
And again, I get you beat them. Don't yell at me.
I'm with you.
I get it.
So I get it. And so when I expected they would jump, and I expect they'll jump them on Tuesday because we're starting to get into body of work season. But I don't.
Yeah, I take a Xanax because you're going to hear resume a lot on Tuesday night. Either way, whether Ole Miss stays ahead or doesn't stay ahead, you're going to hear resume. So just calm down.
Yes.
Calm down.
You're
still in good shape to get in because here's the thing. Tennessee has a win over Alabama that really is not getting a lot of credit right now. You're ahead of Tennessee. You're going to stay ahead of Tennessee.
Yes.
You're in over Tennessee as long as you win 2 games. Calm down.
Last week, I thought Ole Miss was going to be in the 8-9 game. I now think Ole Miss is going to be the 10. They're going to go to the 7. And frankly, that might be it. Unless you just had your heart set on going to Pasadena, that's probably a good thing.
Look, it's all about matchups. Look, if you can get to a home game, and if you end up at the 9 and somebody ends up at the 8 that you're pissed off about, you have every right to be pissed off because home games are going to matter in that first round playing in somebody else's yard. However, matchups matter more than seed here. All you're trying to do is avoid going to Athens or Tuscaloosa. Period.
Yeah.
You don't want to do those 2 things.
No.
Anything else is highly manageable when you look at the damn rankings and figure it out. I mean, if you would much rather be the 10 going to Bloomington than being the 8 hosting Alabama. I'll go to Indiana and take my damn chances, which I think Indiana is going to get popped on Saturday, and then I think they fall out of the damn thing, honestly, because their resume sucks.
Could they have nothing on their resume?
I feel like the committee, my opinion, is waiting on Texas and Indiana lose to tumble them.
Could be.
That's what I'm anticipating.
I mean, again, we don't know the data, but if Ole Miss is 10-2 with the win over Florida, probably will end up looking okay by the time it's over. The state thing won't matter a bit. It's not their fault.
Yeah, I agree with that. Austin, I agree. Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama can win, and they're in. They're all in if they win out.
Yeah.
And I think Texas is in if they win out.
Sure.
We still don't know what the hell is going to happen to any of these losers of the championship games because they will not be clear on that. Everybody says they're not being punished at all, but that also makes no sense. You don't drop them at all. Like I don't know. I mean, if I'm being really honest, that's a weird spot for the committee because I don't know what I even think. You play the game and you get popped by 25. They can't just not factor in. But at the same time, you had to play a game that nobody else even had to play and got to sit there and just be automatically in. So I don't know. It's a hard spot. It really is. And A&M, I don't think A&M can jump you with a win over Texas.
No.
I don't think so.
They can take Texas' spot.
Yeah. They can rotate them.
Yeah. I mean, 10-2 Texas has nothing on its resume at all. I mean, their best win is Vanderbilt and Arkansas.
It is. No, their resume sucks.
I mean, it's horrible. So they would not get in. But again, I go back to this is the flaw in the whole thing. Why is it necessary for us to put Boise State in this tournament? Why is it necessary for us to put Boise State in this tournament? What is that about? Inclusion? Equity? I mean, what are we doing? It's so stupid.
You're avoiding a lawsuit. That's it.
I just let them sue. I've said this for the longest time. I've said this since the summer. This is the dumbest part of this.
But I mean, I know Boise State's the easy poster child here. I'm playing a little devil's advocate.
Yeah.
We're giving Indiana a complete pass despite the fact that they've played no freaking biting.
They haven't, but where I'm giving Indiana a pass is that's the Big Ten's fault.
Well, Boise's in the Mountain West.
Yeah,
well,
but if
they played Oregon in the non-league.
But if Boise played a Big Ten schedule, they'd lose games.
To the teams Indiana's played?
Yes. 1,000%. Yes. They would lose a game or two. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Played Oregon within a score.
They did. I'm just telling you, if they played that schedule, they'd lose games.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just
1,000% yes.
Still think Bama's in the best shape of anybody.
I do too. I think Bama's a threat.
I think Tennessee falls below Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia tomorrow.
So how's the SEC championship thing work? It's Georgia versus the winner of Texas A&M. Is that
I think it would be Alabama, wouldn't it? I don't know. Depends how many 6-2s there are. I mean, again, because you get into this mess. Because if Texas wins, they're automatically in. Because they would only have one loss.
Right.
If A&M wins, it is a freaking zoo at 6-2. Everybody's 6-2. And I don't know how that shakes out. You can do the little thing, but I haven't done that.
Ole Miss essentially gets eliminated from that because of the Kentucky loss,
because they played Kentucky and Mississippi State. Their strength of record is worse than anybody else's. Like,
I mean, whatever.
It's not going to affect you with the committee one iota, but that is how it affects you as far as getting to Atlanta. But I also think you're actually better off not even playing in Atlanta. So that's where I am there.
Like Ginger says this about brand. I think Ole Miss has an elite brand right now because of Kiffin. If you're doing the brand thing and what they want for TV ratings, they want Ole Miss.
Yeah, you're
because they want Lane.
Yeah,
because they're all convinced that Lane's Joey Freshwater.
Yeah, I think I do.
I just don't see it.
I think you have a difficult path to the 8. I think you're completely in with 2 wins. I think you're just stuck in this thing. You can get to the 8. I mean, chaos can happen.
Yeah, you can get there.
SC can beat Notre Dame. They're out. You move up.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be surprised if Ole Miss hosted.
Yeah, you would need 3 upsets the rest of the way. That's what you would need.
Yeah.
Whether that's – we'll get into it in a minute because I have a Florida point, too, I want to get to before we –
because, like, I think – I don't know. If whoever goes to the SEC championship game, before that game they were going to host, I still think they'll host. Like, I don't think you punish – if Bama goes to the SEC championship game and plays Georgia in essentially a rematch, and let's just reverse the score.
Mm-hmm.
It was 31-28 last time, I think.
It was.
Make it 31-28 Georgia this time. Are you punishing Alabama?
No.
I mean, I'm not. I don't think it would be fair. It'd be like let's say you sent Ole Miss to the SEC championship game, and this time instead of beating Georgia 28-10, they lose to Georgia 28-23.
You're not knocking them all the way out of the damn field.
Are you punishing Ole Miss? I don't think so. I don't think that would be fair. I don't think anybody would do that. I don't know how the Big Ten works. I guess it's Oregon, Ohio State play again.
I think that will be the case. As long as Ohio State beats Indiana, obviously.
So in that game, I go to my point. In that game, the winner gets the 1 and the loser gets the 5.
And if Ohio State beats Oregon, Oregon will be the 5. Ohio State could fall to the 6 just because whatever, but sure, either way. Yeah. All right, we'll come back. I got a couple points. First, you've had Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce. You've had them covered in sauce. Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm. If you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. I'll have a column up after Saturday's game. It's brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, expertise, and equipment to make your property look and feel brand new. So if you live in North Mississippi, you want to make sure your gutters are clean, your windows are clean. Window Hero cares about you, and they'll take care of you. Roby and Susan Allen are dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and all of that. So give them a call at 662-510-7077 or get an estimate at windowhero.com. We're brought to you by Rustic Revivals. They're based out of Flowood, Mississippi. Rustic Revivals builds tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, and chairs. They have a limited selection of ready-for-pickup pieces available in their shop. They deliver within 250 miles of Flowood. Podcast listeners can take 20% off their purchase by using the code REBELS20. Check them out at rusticrevivalsms.com, facebook.com/rusticrevivalsms, or Rustic Revivals on Instagram. You can also call them directly at 228-217-1243 or email rusticrevivals@gmail.com. My 10 weekend thoughts are up. They're brought to you by Andrew Sego, Sego Wealth Management. He specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. I'll schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync to be prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You're everything you need when you need it with G&M. So again, whether that's Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222. Look, yeah, I mean, you're all you can control at this point is 10-2. You can get 2 wins. You can beat Florida and Gainesville. However you do it, 1 point does not freaking matter. You don't style points are not going to make the decision either way. Just aren't. It's the one thing the committee actually doesn't look at is margin of victory. It says it in the rules. That's not part of it.
Oregon didn't have many style points Saturday night. They
fired Phil Longo though.
Wisconsin did.
Yeah, Oregon got Phil Longo. Fired.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Oregon got him. I mean, the DM stopped after he left Carolina. That must have been a UNC thing. It didn't carry over to Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, Wisconsin, you really probably need to throw to the tight end a lot, and it wasn't a Longo thing. So I'm not surprised that broke down with the offense a little bit. That's okay. I gotta be. You guys, I guess it, and not his fault, but like it started with Neal's thread on Saturday about how you can stop worrying about LSU now. You transitioned all your worry into Florida, like immediately, that Florida now was this behemoth superpower that could go beat the Chiefs. And
I mean, the Chiefs lost yesterday.
They did. Josh Allen played really well. I know we're all blown away by that, and go figure. Well, the Saints are 2-0, by the way, with an interim coach. Can we not just lose now? Like, I love some of you guys, some of my fellow Saints fans. You go, well, only 2 games out of the division. It's like, well, so what?
I mean,
who the hell are we beating in the playoffs? We can't even tank. We go 2-7, get our coach fired, and then go win 2 in a row.
I know. I've bet on you 2 weeks in a row,
including beating Atlanta. It's like, stop.
Yeah.
But yet Sunday morning, hey, let's go. It's like,
I had Saints -1 yesterday.
Romero was very frustrated. He was texting me going, wait, can we bring Dennis Allen back so we can continue to lose at this point?
Be careful.
Who's the John L. Smith of the NFL that's just going to get all of our interim losses?
I mean,
where's John L. now?
Counting money somewhere.
That was a cottage industry. I can come in and you will not want to hire me, bitches.
Yeah.
0 chance you want to hire me. So my point is here, and I get that the message board is a venting apparatus. I know that a lot of you guys, like in your daily lives, you're probably not sitting there. It is a loser mentality. Not me, them. You just want to be mediocre. You don't want to like tank and then find draft picks. You want to. You're comfortable with being mediocre. So,
Oh, Austin does make a good point, by the way.
What's
Thanks for the super chat. He says, something really ironic. A guy who could guarantee Ole Miss making the playoffs if they win out is Hugh Freeze. If Auburn wins either of their next 2 games, they will eliminate A&M or Bama. It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
He can be the Grim Reaper in this thing.
Auburn at home on Saturday against Texas A&M.
A little sneaky.
A little weird.
Just a little sneaky.
Little spot.
It is. It's a little bit of a weird spot.
I don't think they're winning in Tuscaloosa, but it's a little weird spot for. And look, Florida's got talent. They do. They have talent. He's a talented quarterback. He's hurt. He can't run. Yeah. But he made some good throws. Their defensive front got to LSU a bunch last week. I don't know how much of that was LSU on quit watch, how much of that was Florida just played really well, but they got to, I think they sacked him 7 times.
Yeah,
he had only been sacked 6 times all year.
Yes.
I mean, it's a tough place to play. I mean, you're going to have to show up and play. I anticipate that Ole Miss will show up and play. They've showed up and played pretty much all season. I think they'll show up and play this game. Had they had to play last week, I would have been worried about it. This week, I think they're probably fine.
If anything, Lane has more ability to get their attention now because he goes, they beat the team that beat you. Look up, here's the film, blah, 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 blah. But when you break this down, yes, you're right. They are a talented team. He's done a good job with them all year long. It hasn't been a lack of athleticism or lack of talent or anything else. However, let's not act like they played this perfect game and were this just buzzsaw all night. LSU ran 93 plays to Florida's 45 on Saturday.
Yep.
LSU got to Lagway and pressured him on 38% of his passes, but didn't get home. They didn't sack him at all, but they pressured him on over 1/3 of his things. When they blitzed, they got home every damn time, basically, on Saturday. Hit some throws, did some things. LSU didn't play well, and Campbell was still really good. That edge was really good on the LSU offensive line. Where Florida made hay, and this will be something to look at for Ole Miss this weekend, is that they pressured like crazy up the middle because LSU has an injury at left guard. They've replaced him with whoever the new dude is. And with all due respect to his parents, he sucks. And they're getting killed in the interior because they have a guard that simply cannot block anyone. And that's what Florida was able to exploit and take advantage of and all these things. So I guess when you really pull up some of the metrics, it's like, yes, you got to show up. Florida was completely capable of beating you prior to Saturday, and they're just as capable of beating you after Saturday. But you are playing Lagway, who had 0 scrambles and 0 design runs outside of 3 kneel downs. He cannot move. You have a defensive front that if it gets home and does what it's supposed to do, you're going to be able to handle that. And they don't have a ton of balance. Like, it just, there are things about this that you're still the overwhelming favorite. So just calm down, play well. And look, if you don't play well and tragedy hits you and you lose, it was your fault. You didn't play well. If you play to your ability, you will beat Florida on Saturday.
Yeah.
Period.
No, if you lose the game, you weren't a playoff team because you would have lost to Kentucky, LSU, and Florida.
Which is the one Texas thing I will give them is they haven't lost to the bad team yet.
No.
Now, they don't look very good doing it ever, but they keep winning games.
Sure.
So, okay.
I agree completely.
It's the positive to Penn State and Indiana, even though I don't think they're very good. They have found a way to win games. Okay. In the world we're in, that's going to get you moved up in major conferences. It just is. It's the world we're in.
As opposed to the world we're not in, that we don't even know.
Well, there might be a world out there where that's not the case.
It's quite possible. Likely, in fact.
You don't think we're the only intelligent life in the world?
In like the whole universe?
All the galaxies.
Probably not.
Think so? You know,
I mean, it's an incredibly arrogant assumption to look out into the abyss,
the vast galaxies
and
of
go,
the world.
This one little blue dot is the only place that there's life, intelligent and otherwise. I think that's an incredibly arrogant assumption.
Yeah. Mentally, you're also in a better shape than Florida because Florida now is, they might be 1 win away from bowl eligible, but they get Florida State next week. You're not the team that they're going, hey, we only need one more, and that's the one, by God, we're going to get.
Well, and in this world, does anybody really care about bowl eligibility? I mean, are we really assuming that the Florida team is sitting in the team meeting room going, hey, listen, we're a win away from Nashville, baby.
I don't even think you get to Nashville.
We're a win.
Birmingham.
We're a win away from, Memphis. Guys, we could spend the holidays in Memphis. Hell, sitting at 5 wins, those might I mean, as I think about this, the teams that are sitting at 5 wins, they might be the ones that are on, hey, all we got to do is lose these last 2, and this shit's over next Saturday.
I looked this up when I woke up and was frustrated by some of the stuff, so I wrote yesterday morning. Did you see this, that Florida State has not scored 20 points in a game since August 24th? Week 0.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
They haven't scored 20.
Well, they're not good.
Since August 24th.
What are they, 2 and something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They suck. The Army quarterback has like 12 more touchdowns than Florida State as a team.
Wow. Yeah.
Didn't see that coming earlier in the year. Yeah, Shreveport. It's lovely this time of year. Y'all can go home or you can go to Shreveport and we can practice to go play, I don't know, pick your middling ACC team.
I don't hate Louisiana Tech plus the 23.5 this week at Arkansas. Like if you're Arkansas, 6 wins almost
1-9 for Florida State.
Oh, wow. 6 wins almost convicts you to Memphis.
Yeah, FSU is Cal and 9.
Wow. That's the only game they won all year is Cal.
It is.
Jeez.
We might have, look, Brent Key's done a hell of a job. We might have over-exaggerated that opening day win for Georgia Tech a little bit in the moment because we thought Florida State was going to be good.
Of course we did. We do this every year. The first games are played and we make all these sweeping assertions and they're junk.
Is that on the road? Where is that?
I don't know. I'm about to check.
Okay. So, all right. Let's break down what we think here. And we'll do some of this tomorrow, too. The college football playoff thing comes out on Tuesday night. I forget what time. I saw it. Doesn't matter. So let's run through, though. Where is the possible movement? Where is the possible problem? Again, think you're 2-0. Think you're in. You're fine. But for the thought process and the exercise, here we are.
Okay.
Oregon knocked off Wisconsin. They won by 3. They will be number 1 in the country on Tuesday night.
Yes.
Ohio State beat the hell out of Northwestern. They will maintain number 2 on Tuesday night. These two teams likely play each other later on. By the way, I don't think we have time today. Remind me tomorrow to discuss why Northwestern is building an $850 million football stadium.
Okay.
In the world we're in right now today, as opposed to the world we're not in. Please do that.
Maybe they think there's another world coming.
Maybe. Just try to let me remember. I'll leave it on the notepad. Texas, number 3, they will maintain and stay after beating Arkansas 20-10. Razorbacks got that cover on Saturday at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Penn State will remain number 4. I don't think they're very good, but they have 1 loss, and it's to Ohio State. Indiana will be number 5. They play Ohio State this weekend, so there'll be some movement. The question is a 1-loss Indiana fall below Ole Miss? I don't know.
What happens if Indiana wins? Does Ohio State fall out?
No, they won't fall out. Because their 2 losses will be kind of like Georgia.
Okay.
Will be Oregon and Indiana, who will probably be number 1 and number 2 in the country.
Okay.
They literally will have 2 losses to the top 2 teams in the country. I think that would happen. All right, BYU.
So does margin of defeat matter for Indiana Saturday?
No. Well, yeah, because it's humans.
Yeah.
They might not write it on the form, but eye test does matter. If you get beat 17-14, that is far different than getting beat 41-3. Because at 41-3, you look like a bunch of pretenders that just got hot under a first-year coach.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do think that matters a little bit. BYU loses to Kansas. That removes the chance of the Big 12 being a automatic kind of 2-bid league, because you were going to run the risk of BYU going undefeated, losing in the conference championship game, and not falling out of the top 11. So now that's over. They've got a loss. Throw them down, throw them out, move on. Tennessee, I think, is going to tumble, although I don't know how fair it is, frankly. Their resume with 2 losses is still better than all those Big Ten teams outside of Oregon and Ohio State, but they're going to get punished by playing the schedule they're playing.
Whose resume?
Tennessee. They still have a good resume. Like,
yeah.
I know it's just, I know it just is, but it's.
All right, Tennessee has beaten Chattanooga.
Yeah.
NC State.
Yeah.
Kent State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yep.
They lost at Arkansas.
Yeah.
They beat Florida. They beat Alabama.
Yeah.
They beat Kentucky. They beat Mississippi State. They lost to Georgia. Not really. They will have beaten Texas, El Paso, and I'm assuming a win at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's not good. It's why Ole Miss is ahead of them, even though they're basically the same resume.
But, like, here's Ohio State's resume.
Yeah.
They've beaten Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, Iowa. They lost at Oregon. They beat Nebraska. They won at Penn State. They beat Purdue. They beat Northwestern. They get Indiana and Michigan. Indiana has beaten FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington, Michigan State, and Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, big whoop.
They haven't even played Illinois, have they?
No.
By the way, Illinois has done a good job. 7-3 under Luke.
He's done a fine job. But, like, the Big Ten's fine. I don't think it's as good as the SEC this year.
Now read Texas.
Man, I love you guys. O'Neal Steele. I mean, I will. I dread throwing these away. I've used them so much. Texas beat Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA, ULM, Mississippi State,
Ooh.
Oklahoma, lost to Georgia, beat Vanderbilt, beat Florida, beat Arkansas. And
they beat Florida, who had Aiden Warner at quarterback.
Yeah, but it's Florida.
I know, but my point is that's actually worse than a couple of the Big Ten teams you just read. There ain't shit on that schedule.
They play Kentucky Saturday in Austin, and then they go to College Station. I mean, Georgia has a resume.
Georgia has the best resume in the country.
Yeah.
They have the best resume in the country.
Yeah. And they've got some decent wins. They beat Clemson.
Yes, Vandy is Texas's best win right now.
Yeah. Vandy or Arkansas. That's it. It's Vandy because Arkansas has 5 wins.
Which gives you the chance that Texas tumbles if they lose.
Yeah.
There's a chance to go blah.
I mean, I think so.
Which is the one word of advice that I know Neal's going to shake his head in agreement with immediately is there are weeks left. Chill out. People are going to lose.
Well, at the risk of sounding like a smartass, you hadn't won yet.
Yeah. Got to play out. Got to be whatever. Got to be what it is.
There will be an upset.
Yeah. Somebody's going to beat somebody.
Well, that's why I pushed back on the LSU thing last week. Well, if everything goes by chalk, and I'm like, okay, well, how many weeks go by chalk? And nobody would ever answer that question because I was like, I was making a point. They didn't like it. I was like, it's not going to go by chalk. Someone's going to beat somebody. And it's going to happen in this. Someone's going to knock off one of these teams. It just is.
Okay. Notre Dame is out if they lose to SC or Army.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going in the
And Army could technically replace Boise.
They could. Yeah. Miami. Okay, here's a question for you. Is there a possible bid stealer where the ACC gets 2?
No.
Miami and SMU both have 1 loss currently.
Yeah, but someone's going to play a championship game.
And the loser's out.
Think so.
You're going to get punished, even if it's Miami.
Yeah, I think so.
If Miami is 9th in the thing, go to the championship game, they'll fall to 12th.
I think so.
Losing to SMU?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I mean, if you guys want to just gnaw your teeth about fingernails about something, that would be what I gnawed my fingernails about. That's your one bid steal left as far as the other conferences, because I don't see how the Big 12 becomes a bid stealer.
Because Miami has beaten Florida, Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, Cal. Did they lose to Louisville? Who did they lose to? They lost to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So they beat Louisville, Florida State, Duke, lost to Georgia Tech. They play Wake and Syracuse. Yeah. They can't lose again.
Okay. Even to SMU in the championship.
Yeah, and SMU's wins, by the way, they've beaten Nevada, Houston Christian. They lose to BYU?
They lost to BYU.
Okay. They came back and beat TCU, Florida State. They won at Louisville. It's a nice win. Stanford, Duke, Pitt, BC, and they play Virginia and Cal. Yeah, no, that's a one-bid league. I'm just telling you, it's a one-bid league.
And Louisville just lost to Stanford.
It's a one-bid
on
league.
Saturday.
It's a one-bid league.
Okay.
They're going to play a championship game, and the winner's going to get a spot and a bye.
Yes.
So that's the deal.
Good enough.
Everybody knows the score.
Alabama in if they win.
Yes, of course.
Ole Miss likely in if you win. Georgia.
I don't even think it's likely with Ole Miss. I think they're in if they win. I'm being serious here. I would, if I thought there was a problem.
Well, because you got to get past. That's where I'm going. If the ACC is a one bid league,
yeah.
If that's the case, I'm going through this, and your only possibilities to be passed are the only way to lose a spot. And I mean this literally. Two things. If there's a world, and I guess there's not, if there's a world where Clemson can get the automatic bid from the ACC and one of those other teams only have one loss.
Okay.
Is that, I don't know if that's doable.
I don't know.
But I'm trying to come up with any bid ceiling scenario, and it would be that a 8-2 current Clemson team got the automatic bid, and Miami or SMU didn't play in the championship game and got an at-large berth.
I don't know what the tiebreaker is.
The Big 12 now cannot be a two-bid league, in my opinion. No, or at least they can't pass Ole Miss to steal a bid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Everybody's got 2 losses and stuff, and it's a mess. I guess BYU only has 1, but they lost. Call it what it is. So that's a one-bid league. BYU is not going to lose on Saturday and stay ahead of Ole Miss this week.
No.
Washington State lost. They're out. No chance of at-larges in that scenario. So your only other bid stealer in this entire conversation is if you think there's a world where A&M could win out, Texas stay in, and both them be above Ole Miss. That would be your only.
I don't think that.
Yeah, that's your only world.
I think any of the metrics would put Ole Miss ahead of both of those teams.
Okay, they say Clemson can't get in; they have no tiebreaker. So okay,
you're good.
And 10-2, Clemson's not even with the win over South Carolina is not passing anyone.
I mean, I realize this is obnoxious. I think I'm right, and I don't really do that very often. So I'm. It's almost an uncomfortable spot for me to kind of dig in and go, well, I think I'm right. But the more I think about it, the more I think I'm right. Which is, if you go 10-2, you're in, and then when you get into that, okay, how do we sort out 7, 8, 9, 10? I think the Kentucky loss hurts Ole Miss.
I think your only path today without something weird happening, we're just simply not anticipating, because things can always blow up. We've seen that before. But in a world where not just scratch, but anything conceivable that we're aware of, your path to hosting at this point would be Ohio State beating the hell out of Indiana.
Okay.
SC beating Notre Dame.
Okay. Sure.
And then chaos somewhere else in the SEC. One game where you pass somebody ahead of you.
Auburn wins the Egg Bowl. The Iron Bowl.
Yeah. Kentucky beats Texas.
That ain't happening.
That's my point. But I'm just saying.
I mean, it's not. So
you feel very good on that money line?
Kentucky quit.
No, they hammered Murray State's ass on Saturday.
Great.
Beat the hell out of the racers or the thoroughbreds or whatever they're calling them.
I mean, it would be funny in a lot of. It would be funny in every way. I don't know what it is about Texas that I just kind of find them obnoxious.
Are you starting to be more A&M than Texas?
Ooh,
because going into the year we were both kind of hook 'em, and it's dying a little bit. I'm with you.
It's died a lot. Part of me kind of likes Elko, and then a part of me kind of doesn't.
Okay.
I don't really know what that's about. I don't like A&M because it's just so freaking weird.
I find myself not liking Elko, but I have no concrete reason to feel that way. But I find myself pulling against him.
I kind of like him that he's sort of a literalist.
Okay.
Like when someone's like, hey, coach, one of the homers in the thing, hey, coach, you've done an awesome job, and blah, blah. He goes, I've won. That's it. That's all that this is. We're winning. As soon as we lose, you'll turn.
Not wrong.
And I admire that. I'm like, yes, that is absolutely right.
Yeah, he's not like the most hateable coach in the league or anything. That's Brian Kelly. But
our friend Avery says she wants to be put in a coma until after the Egg Bowl, but then you'd miss Thanksgiving.
Now, maybe you don't mind that. You hate Thanksgiving.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That's not it. I don't hate it. I just think it's
You've skipped it. Your Christmas decoration's been up for 2 weeks.
That's take that up with somebody else. I just think it's an overrated meal. If it weren't an overrated meal, we would eat that meal more often.
So if we had steak on Thanksgiving, you would be more inclined to be appreciative.
I mean, I'm appreciative, but
if we had surf and turf as our traditional Thanksgiving meal, And it was steak and lobster and shrimp.
Yeah,
and
I'd be more in on it.
Okay.
Of course.
I mean, you can do that.
Absolutely.
Nobody makes you have turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce.
I had a Thanksgiving by myself back in the day, and I had a steak.
Yeah.
I did. Avery doesn't like Thanksgiving. I'm not alone on this. You want me to be all by myself on this island, and I'm telling you, I got company.
No, I mean, the six in the stream, it's not about the meal, it's about family. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly doing a bit. I have no problem with any of this, but it just we keep getting earlier and earlier. Okay, I'm acknowledging that we're getting earlier and earlier with
Christmas. Yeah.
Now we do have a very late Thanksgiving this year.
We do,
which plays sort of into it.
In the current American culture, Christmas season starts the moment that Halloween is over. When the final,
but that's a fairly recent phenomenon.
I said in the current American culture.
Like the last 3 years.
When the last kid hits the doorbell.
It's a post-pandemic thing,
time.
I think.
Could be.
We went, you know what? We like this, so by God, we're going to do it longer.
Yeah, you shouldn't to go, hey, let's hang out with my family. You shouldn't be like, hey, we need a random Thursday. Why? You could pick any other time to hang out with your family.
I do think dressing's actually good. I like dressing.
Yeah, I like dressing.
We probably could use it as a side item more frequently.
So why don't
we? Don't.
So why not?
I don't know. Is it because it's kind of takes a while to make?
It's
a lot of effort for a side item.
We don't limit mashed potatoes to one meal.
Yeah, but those don't take the time that dressing does.
If you do them right, they do take some time.
Well, okay.
I'm not talking about the box mashed potatoes.
No, I know what you mean.
I mean, like actual mashed potatoes. Yeah, where it's good. Like if you make homemade mac and cheese, it does take some time.
I mean, there are lots of, I say purists, but that's not the right word, that still say it is the minute Thanksgiving is over and you put the decorations up on the Friday after Thanksgiving. We go through Thanksgiving and then you put it up.
See, I'm kind of with BWL here. He goes, decorations are such a bitch to put up. Might as well get 2 months out of.
Well, how about this one?
I'm with you.
Okay, I'm moving on. But last thing. Ginger said my dressing takes several days to make.
Wow.
See, potatoes don't take several days.
Oh, I got so many questions.
But here's the thing, and I'm Methodist. We don't do this, but I know some do. This could be somewhat of an answer. We also take Christmas decorations down too early. The Epiphany goes into January.
Yeah.
Why are we taking the tree down on December 26th? So in a world, why aren't we putting the tree up after Thanksgiving and just leaving the damn thing up into like January 5th or 6th?
I mean, we don't take ours down until New Year's Day.
Okay, but either way, why don't you run through the entire 12 days?
I mean, we could.
Maybe that's the problem. It's just we're in such an instant gratification society. You got to put it up now instead of having the patience to leave it up more later. Yeah, it's supposed to be until January 6th, BWL says. That's the problem.
I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, Avery said she does it. Said tree comes down on January 6th.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, see?
We always take ours down on January 1st just because it's kind of become a tradition to take the thing down on January 1st.
Doris says his wife might not take it down to MLK Day. He's laughing. I mean,
if it makes you happy to leave it up until the 20th of January, leave it up.
You have to make the cornbread and biscuits. Put them in a Ziploc bag for a few days. You can't make dressing with fresh cornbread and biscuits.
Oh.
There are certain things you need stale bread for.
That's interesting.
Okay. Wife is Ukrainian. Orthodox Christmas usually like January 7th. We leave it up to second week of January. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So that's a few of you guys moving in there with that. Yeah, keep it coming. Curious what you do. Take ours down the first pleasant day in January. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, January 1st was like football and stuff.
That's why we did it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just turn on the games and you take it down. And whenever Laura dreads it, and then it doesn't take nearly as long as we think it's going to take.
It's worse in your head. Yeah, it is. Patience. Lost in society day. It's a problem. So we just rush it. Might as well put the damn thing up on Labor Day. At Citizens Bank, you're not just an account number. You're a valued member of the community. And now if you find yourself in the mortgage space, Whit Wilson is there to help you out and get you settled in with your new mortgage. That's at the Citizens Bank, there to meet all your real estate goals. 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your situation and options with Whit. Also, while you're in there, make sure you ask about the School Spirit debit cards. They help you out with donating an amount per every transaction, every single one, to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
I'm so proud of myself for sabotaging the bowl conversation. We're brought to you by. I really am. I did it. I'm so proud.
I think we lost 85 viewers in the matter of that 4 minutes, but it's okay.
It was worth it.
Whatever.
We're brought to you by Grenade. We'll come back.
Looked up and went from 440 to 380, and I was like, "What the hell?"
See, it's the anxious people. People are like, nobody's anxious. I'm looking at the numbers. We're brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paint, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all type, stone countertops, granite quartz, whatever you're looking for, they've got it. Window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada. Call them at 662-226-3127. Here's what is inarguable. The Christmas shopping season starts for real next Friday. If you're coming up for the Egg Bowl, coming up for basketball games, whatever the case may be, highly encourage you to stop at Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lammon's Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, color stones, diamond jewelry, and much more. They are great for gifts, birthdays, push presents, and Christmas, which is approaching. Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. Speaking of gifting, the College Corner, it's a great place if you're buying a gift for the Ole Miss fan in your life for the holidays, birthdays, whatever the case may be. Stop at the College Corner when you're up for the Egg Bowl. They've got more than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear right off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. Plenty of parking available. Their staff's going to have you in and out and ready for the Grove, the stadium in no time. Also, 2 locations in the Jackson area and collegecornerstore.com all the time, of course. And we're brought to you by Argent Wealth. It's based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They have clients in more than 20 states. Argent provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by our friend John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you are planning a trip that you want to be one that creates a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John, and he'll help you do that. All you got to do is give him a budget, give him some parameters. He's going to give you options that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net.
The Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom is located on the Ole Miss campus and aims to explore and examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. The center offers an academic minor in freedom studies and scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students that bring along lots of networking potential. They have events, they have salons, they have things to get you thinking. There with learning more, you can contact Steven Scoltetti. You do that at freedom@olemiss.edu, or you can visit on the website independence.olemiss.edu. You help our boy out in the stream. He's asking what dressing is. Says he's not from the South, even though he went to Ole Miss. Dressing is not gravy. It is a very carb heavy dish of cornbread, bread. It's stuffing that isn't stuffed. That's the best way to describe it. I know stuffing versus dressing brings out fisticuffs and Anchorman level fights, but that is the best interpretation I can give you. And it's not the store-bought stuff, not the stovetop you go get at the store and throw in the little thing with the bag. Not it.
No.
Most families have the one person who makes the dressing, and it's very sacred, and like that's what they do, and nobody else gets in on that turf. That's typically the way that works. The poll that everybody was very frustrated about yesterday was the Associated Press. It had Georgia at number 8. It had Ole Miss at number 9. It had Tennessee at number 10. Had Bama at number 7.
And some of that was just recency bias. They voted literally hours after Georgia beat Tennessee in Athens. Ole Miss didn't play. Ole Miss wasn't front of mind. They didn't play.
It's true. Poll mechanics are weird. Just it's humans, so you can take the human element and wonder how it's going to correlate to Tuesday.
Yep.
Ole Miss is at 1,083 points. Georgia is at 1,113 points.
Okay. Pretty close.
It's very close. Bama's at 1,130 points at number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's at 953. Ole Miss has a very healthy lead on number 10 with the Vols. Again, recency.
I'm more and more convinced I'm right. So who's the 7 seed? Because that's who Ole Miss is playing if they win. Who's the 7? Is that likely Notre Dame? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it could be Notre Dame. It could be a Big Ten team, or it could be Alabama.
So how are we? So let's go back to our thought exercise.
By the way, real quick, Ole Miss is, from a poll mechanics standpoint, Ole Miss. I understand that in the collective, you guys are very frustrated. You're 14th because there are 5 idiots out there that have Ole Miss ranked 12th and 14th.
Yeah, and those people.
If you were just ranked 8th or 9th or 10th by those, do the math, you would get more points, and thus you would be ahead of Georgia. And
maybe even Alabama.
Yes. You have outliers here because Chris Carlson, Kurt Kinney, and Stephen Means have you ranked 14th. That is the actual reason the poll.
Are any of them on the committee?
To the best of my knowledge, I do not believe so.
Yeah,
Your highest ranking is from Koki Riley, who has you 3rd, which he's a believer. And then
Adam 7, and I almost. So I did the thing yesterday where I'm like, okay, how am I doing this? And my poll doesn't count for anything other than just 10 weekend thoughts. But I actually put some thought into it. And I'm like, if I'm doing a poll right now, who do I think is the best team in the SEC right now? Who do I think is the best team in the SEC right now? I think it's Ole Miss. I do. Now, should I weigh body of work into my polling data? I think so. And body of work includes the Kentucky game. So I punish Ole Miss, but I still have them 2nd in the league. I have Ole Miss 7, I think. Georgia 8. No, Bama 8, Georgia 9.
Okay.
And then I think I went Tennessee 10 because I think the league's that good.
Okay.
My thought process is probably not all that different from people who are on the committee. And so I think when it comes time, right, so you're going to have Oregon or Ohio State's going to be 1.
Mm-hmm. The other one's likely 5.
Whoever wins the SEC championship is going to be the 2.
Yes.
You're going to have ACC and a Big 12 3 and 4.
Unless there's chaos and Boise stayed ahead of the Big 12. But either way.
Whatevs. That doesn't change my numbers.
Yes.
The Big 10 runner-up's going to be the 5.
Probably.
I think the SEC runner-up is going to be the 6.
Okay.
And
Notre Dame has a chance to be the 7.
So that's where you get into this. Who's the 7? I'm betting if they win out, it's Notre Dame. That's my bet.
If you could be the 10 and you either get to go to South Bend or Tuscaloosa, I know which one you're picking.
Oh, I'd go to South Bend 42 times over. I don't want to go to Alabama and play them.
No.
If my goal is to win the thing,
yeah,
no.
But hold on, I can get Notre Dame then Texas. Oh yes, please sign me up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Notre Dame's good. I mean, I think Notre Dame's good. I mean, I do. I think,
but it ain't Tuscaloosa. It ain't Athens.
No. And if I'm Ole Miss, the last place I want to go is Athens.
Yeah, the hell with that.
Because boy, you'd have their attention.
Ole Miss's most prevalent ranking by all the voters is 8. You by far have the most votes at 8.
Yeah, which would put you in the 10.
Put you in the 9.
The 9.
You'd lose 1 spot. Rankings move you 1 down.
And frankly, if I'm trying to win the whole thing, I'd rather, if you offered me the 10.
I'd rather be the 10 than the 9.
The 10 at South Bend or the 8 at home, I'd rather, because you're going to get Oregon.
I don't want Oregon in the second round. I'd rather have Texas. However, again, you just want to avoid Tuscaloosa and Athens. Anywhere else. I tend
to agree.
I mean, I guess you don't want to go to Columbus if you ended up in a 6-11 with Ohio State.
So, our quote colleague, right, at
who's that?
This is Nick Bromberg with Yahoo and Rivals. This is on the Yahoo Sports and Rivals.com Instagram page. He's got Oregon as the 1, Texas as the 2, Miami as the 3, and Boise as the 4. He's got Ohio State as the 5, Penn State as the 6. So I think we're forgetting, when we do this, I think we keep forgetting Penn State is like going to be in perfect spot. They're going to be 11-1 and not having to play.
Yeah, I know.
And their only loss is a fairly respectable loss.
So they could be at 5 and Penn State and Ohio State could be at 6 or vice versa.
I mean, no, listen, I think there's no question.
So you think Penn State's the 6?
I think Penn State is the 6.
Which means Alabama or Notre Dame's the 7.
So they've got Indiana as the 7.
But that can't exist. Ohio State and Indiana can't exist there.
Okay,
No, you can't. Like, you can't have 4 of the top 6 because somebody has to lose.
Yeah, I know, but what he's saying, and I think he's making a compelling point here.
Go ahead.
Is he saying so he's having a world where Indiana goes 11-1, and I'm assuming he's assuming a fairly respectable loss.
I guess, but
they'd be 11-1.
But based on what?
Because if Ole Miss,
who did you beat though?
But if Ole Miss were 11-1 and left out,
they would be number 5.
They would be the 5.
I get it, but if you only drop Indiana to the 7, I mean, what are we doing?
I'm just telling you.
What in the resume makes any sense?
I'm telling you what our friend Nick has.
I mean, my God.
And then he's got Notre Dame as the 8, Bama as the 9, Ole Miss as the 10, Georgia as the 11. Hey, Penn State, buckle up, baby.
What is Penn State's?
6.
Oh, it gets Georgia.
Yeah. And he's got BYU as the 12.
Because they're guaranteed a spot. He has them winning the Big 12, but being behind,
falling
Boise
below
State.
Boise. So I mean, he's putting some thought in this.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying he's right.
If Ohio State's the 5, Penn State's the 6, and Indiana's the 7, like, it means your perfect world is to have 2 or 3 good teams and everyone else in your conference just suck.
No, it doesn't. Well, yes. But what it means from a ranking standpoint is that they're giving them they're basically going the 2 leagues are the same. They have 1 loss. You guys have 2. Now, I think that's total horseshit.
But every 1 loss goes okay.
Yeah, but that's what Chase. It's clearly what they're saying.
Well, it's what Nick said.
We don't know what. Right. But what I'm saying is, if that plays out, what it tells you is that
you're setting up a bunch of head-to-heads and going, here.
Well, yeah.
I mean, put the ball down, see what happens.
Which is what I think's going to happen. That's why I don't think you're going to see a Georgia-Alabama first-round game, an Ole Miss-Alabama first-round game. I don't. I think they're going to set up in this, because in this scenario, so let's play this out. If I'm the TV people,
I don't want to leave a Big Ten team out with 1 loss. I just don't think you should line them all up and give them all the best seeds.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But if you do it this way, here's what you get, and this is made for TV.
All on Big Ten home fields.
So what? Here's what
you'd rather play on the road than at home? You don't think that's an advantage for Penn State versus going to Athens?
I think Ole Miss would kick Indiana's ass. I think Alabama would beat Notre Dame in South Bend, and I think Georgia would do things to Penn State that would
in Happy Valley
would make it not safe for television. That's what I think. I watched the Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, come to find out, Georgia's not dead, by the way, guys.
No. But my point is that but they have 2 losses.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has 2 losses. Alabama has 2 losses. Indiana will have 1 loss. Penn State will have 1 loss.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State will have 2 losses, but one of them will be in the championship game.
Yeah,
in this world. Or Oregon will have 1 loss, and that will be in the championship game.
Which they're easily the 5.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And what else does it do? So hold on. So for the TV standpoint, what you'd get is, I think, you'd get a Friday night game, BYU at Ohio State.
Sure.
Then you'd get Saturday, if you made me guess how they would do this, I would guess Saturday morning you'd have Ole Miss at Indiana.
Okay.
Followed by Alabama at Notre Dame, and then a primetime game of Georgia at Penn State, or you could flip those. From a TV standpoint, that's phenomenal. You're going to get Alabama, Notre Dame, and Georgia, Penn State in some form of a doubleheader following an SEC Big Ten game to open it up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because I'd assume you would play – I guess it's conceivable you would take the Ole Miss-Indiana game, play it on Friday night, and let BYU Ohio State open the day. But regardless, you're going to get made for TV games. That's what I actually. The more I look at Nick's bracket, the more I think Nick might be onto something.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah. Now, what happens if Texas loses? Because he's got Texas winning.
Yeah.
He's got Texas winning the SEC championship game. And I'm not sure.
Which means beating Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I buy that.
And if they do, then they deserve it. Okay.
Well, shit, yeah, of course. Style points don't matter if all you do is win. No. I mean, if Texas finishes 12-1 with the one loss being at home to Georgia, I'm like, okay. I mean, you earned it. I can't punish you for that. The whole, they only beat Arkansas by 10 doesn't mean anything to me. Nothing.
No, they found a way to win the game. It's fine.
I mean, we don't do that with Georgia. We don't go, well, they only beat Kentucky by 1. No, they won. They figured it out.
I do wonder about that. Grind asking, would you put an East Coast team at 7:45 at night Central? There's possibility them factor that around a little bit.
Yeah, no, they might move this and put the Penn State game in the day and then Alabama Notre Dame at night under the lights in South Bend. I don't know whether they would try to factor weather in. I have no idea. They've never done this before.
Yeah,
we don't know how they'll do it. But I totally buy that
I do too.
Setup. Now, what happens to the SEC if everybody, by the time it's over, has 2 losses? I don't know.
Yeah.
But what you're going to get in the Big Ten is you're going to get a 1-loss Penn State.
Yep.
Probably a 1-loss Indiana.
And I think you're going to have a 1-loss Ohio State and Oregon because I think Ohio State's winning out. And I think
that's
they're
the
beating
case,
Oregon in the Big Ten title.
So if that's the case, you're going to have 4 1-loss teams.
Mm-hmm.
And the SEC is going to have 4, maybe 5 2-loss teams. So I can pretty much predict who gets left out.
Yeah. All right. Men's Clinic is in Madison and Brandon. So if you're experiencing low energy levels, no motivation, decreasing muscularity, increased belly fat, you're getting older, got stuff going on. They can help you out. They optimize testosterone levels, improve insulin resistance, reduce inflammation, look at your gut microbiome, improve sleep. That's more important than ever. It's always been important. We just value it more than we ever have in society. TheManThing.com to make an appointment. You go see them. Real doctors look at you. After that first appointment, they can kind of look at you from anywhere. You can do things remotely. I'm doing it right now because their mission is to make sure you're as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They do that by optimizing all the things I was telling you about and more. It's Madison and Brandon. Again, that's TheManThing.com, 601-607-7869.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's CorinthDental.com. I'll have what he said, what he meant up probably tonight, actually, by the time it's actually published. It's brought to you by Andy Ludicky of MyPerfectFranchise.net. He is a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's MyPerfectFranchise.net or Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net or 404-973-9901. We're brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft beer, and they do it really well. The doctor is introducing your new go-to IPA. Dr. Juice is a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the, I'm saying this wrong now, it's in my head, Yakima Valley, I think. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. This pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze and soft mouthfeel. Aroma and taste is full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. So wherever you go to buy your beer, look for Parish. They've got everything you could be looking for. All their beers are amazing. and we appreciate them being part of our show. You can also elevate your game day look with socks that financially support the Rebels. Every step you take shapes the future of Ole Miss athletics. Visit deadsoxy.com. Choose a subscription to receive the latest in Ole Miss styles every month or at an interval that best suits you. With a subscription, you'll receive 25% off member pricing, free shipping, and a free pair of Juice Kiffin socks with your first order. Only 100 of these exclusive socks remain, so take the next step, upgrade your socks, and as always, stay soxy.
Podcast is brought to you by AnySpark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. They offer both residential and business packages, speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That's AnySpark.com. AnySpark, connected, stay local. And then lastly, Johnston Hill Creamery, JohnstonHillCreamery.com. Ole Miss back in town for the Egg Bowl in a couple weeks. You can get your tailgate packages, 10, 20, or 40 people can be served with those packages. Sandwiches, charcuterie trays, those are my favorite. The artisanal cheese trays, crudité, if you want to be a little healthier, desserts, plenty of different accompanying items and more. They're located inside Chicory Market. So you go in, check it out just for dinner, lunch, quick snacks, and catering. Lots of options there with Johnston Hill Creamery. And you can pick up day of game or day before. They have options for you. So again, you can order everything right there on the website. That's JohnstonHillCreamery.com. Okay, let's see. I don't know what we're talking about because our stream is all over the place with Thanksgiving and matchups and whatnot. I guess we'll mostly get into the lines tomorrow because
I do kind of wonder which game they'll put in the Friday night. Do you put the worst game, the least attractive game, or do you try to put do you go 2 prime times, even though TV history shows that you don't get a Friday night number like you get a Saturday night number no matter what?
And it's December 20th, Christmas party night.
Big time.
That maybe is the Christmas party night for the year.
The Friday night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how they would.
I would put the group of 5 game there. Now, Saturday, 2 of the games are TNT.
They are.
So that might be the 2 least.
They are. That's right.
Games.
They're not network, which none are network, but yeah.
Because the best game's going to get that Saturday night slot because that's the ABC. I mean, that's the ESPN.
Yeah, the big one.
Humdinger.
Yes. How nervous are you if you're the NFL about your Christmas Day games on Netflix after the way that buffered the other night for Tyson and Paul?
I mean, there's an article about it yesterday that they are nervous.
You're glad they had that run because now you get to put the fear of God in them and they get to figure it out.
Yeah, but if that buffered them, NFL audiences going to kill them.
Yeah, because guys, don't take their word on the numbers on that and act like that is equal to a Nielsen rating. Like I saw everybody just ran with Netflix's internal data, and let's chill out a little bit. Like,
yeah,
let's just chill. That's all. They had no reason to be completely as strict with that as they would in other places. I did see where, because the Sports Business Journal was talking about it. Said that the leverage the NFL enjoys with networks won't translate to streamers, basically, because, he pointed out, I'm trying to find the quote. He says, quote, if Fox didn't have the NFL, FS1 goes under. Literally. He says that that was what keeps FS1 from even being a channel is the fact that Fox has the NFL. One of the reasons that Skydance paid so much for Paramount is because they have an NFL deal that extends out for another decade. Traditional media companies, their whole existence relies on these sports leagues. Because of that, these leagues have incredible amount of leverage over them and can go get the kind of prices the NBA and the NFL get. Having the leagues go after streaming, though, they're going to find the whole leverage aspect of what they've enjoyed the past several decades is going to be turned on its head. And that's where I think they should be wary. Oren goes on to say what the NFL did recently, and it paid off for them. Every single one of the TV networks has a package. Amazon has a package. Netflix has Christmas Day. Google, YouTube has Sunday Ticket. So all of a sudden, there's just enough packages for anyone who wants a piece that's interested. But it's like buying a house. The more bidders you get, the higher the price goes up. And kind of culling that and just creating more of a fervent bidding market could potentially get more money out, he thinks. So there's so many options now that every single network is not going to be leveraged the way that they have.
Right.
And we're seeing that while streaming is working, it's certainly not Fox. Like it's not the broadcast way the NFL has been playing out to this point.
So. Bobblefish has a really good point here. NFL has games on the 21st, Houston at Kansas City, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. I don't know what time those games are.
We looked at this.
I'm kind of curious.
Houston KC's at like 2:30 or 3.
Okay.
We looked at this, I feel like.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore, which was a great game yesterday. Whew. Boy. Have fun, TNT.
Oh. That's not good.
It will be interesting to see how they decide to put those games.
Knowing you're taking an L on 2 of them.
Well, and God, you're getting Boise State instead of Texas or Tennessee. Come on, man.
I mean, if Tennessee, I get your fans being pissed if you end up in Las Vegas and Boise's in the freaking playoff and you're 10-2 with those losses.
Of course. I mean,
I had them backwards. Houston KC's at noon. Pittsburgh, Baltimore at 3:30.
So you're going up against the TNT games. That night primetime game is all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's probably why ESPN told TNT they could have to. Well, you know what? Pay us and you can go up against the NFL. So, enjoy.
So here's my prediction.
And the NFL didn't just go, you know what? We're going to have some games. They threw 2 heavyweight games in there.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them a finger.
Well, that's what they do. They flex.
Yeah. No. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, guys.
Well, and like their Christmas Day thing is a flex at the NBA, which is almost a comical one. It's like, hey, we're going to flex our muscles on, watch this. We're going to put our games on Netflix and kill you.
When it's the same thing, just in reverse. It's KC, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Houston. Yeah. Same 4 teams. They're running a prime, but the Thursday night game is Seattle, Chicago the next day, too, on the 26th.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Christmas is a Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is correct.
So I'm going to predict they put, assuming Notre Dame wins out, they put the Notre Dame game on Friday night at home, and they put one of the SEC Big Ten slobber knockers. They're going to send Ole Miss, Alabama, or Georgia to Penn State. I'm just telling you that's coming.
Yeah.
And go here.
To get the number.
And it'll get it is made for TV.
Yes.
I get it.
Bama at Penn State will run that number up.
Oh, get a monster number. Get a monster number.
Indiana trying to keep Signetti. He signs a contract extension through 2029 that pays $9 million a year all in. It's $8 million in salary plus a $1 million annual retention bonus there. So basically $9 million a year for Indiana.
He's like 60 years old too.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you told me that the other day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lane will freeze to death in Happy Valley. He'll be wearing like 9 parkas.
Yeah.
I almost kind of want that now just to watch him be really uncomfortable on the sideline.
So he probably wants the 8-9 because if he gets the 8-9 and he wins, he gets to go to California for a week.
He does. He can play in the Rose Bowl.
How fitting would that be? USC completely sucks. Lane Kiffin's got Ole Miss
in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
against Ohio State or Oregon.
Yeah, it'd be on my checklist of things that I've always wanted to cover and never covered.
Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl's way up there.
Yeah. Brian Kelly has a huge buyout. He's not going anywhere. They're not paying that
from
out
a
right
travel budget standpoint. The Rose Bowl is
good.
not at the top of my list.
Neal was going home game Atlanta. Home game Atlanta.
I was cheering
home game
for
Atlanta.
I was cheering for home game Atlanta, followed by
Dallas.
What are the
Dallas or Miami? It's cotton and orange.
Oh yes, so I was cheering for home Atlanta, Dallas, and then back to Atlanta if they went all the way. That's all.
Yeah.
That's from a travel standpoint, expensive. Don't get me wrong, but a lot more doable than L.A. and then Miami and. I just don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I've told you guys I'm cheering for it. But I don't know how Ole Miss gets to the 7 or the 8 without a lot of...
I think it takes 3 upsets. I think you literally need all 3.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I enjoy watching LSU lose because of Brian Kelly. He's the most hateable coach in the SEC.
I agree.
He just mannerisms, the whole thing.
I don't know why.
God.
In Dallas, he was working out next to me and seemed like a perfectly pleasant person. I don't really know what it is about him, but there's something about him.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to kind of be on that page, by the way.
Just whines. I mean,
they're not firing him. They can't afford it. He's
never had this kind of pressure before.
Mm-mm. It's a different deal.
This isn't Notre Dame pressure.
No, LSU pressure's different. I mean, I told Hugh Freeze that to his face one day. He said something about LSU, and I was like, that's not for you. I'm just telling you. You'd suffocate.
Mm-hmm. And he is. That's what's happening. They're now 6-4 on the season. I don't know what they got left. But
Look, I grew up in Louisiana. Nick Saban won at LSU, but Nick Saban would win anywhere. Let's be clear. Nick Saban would win anywhere. Like, you would not have wanted Nick Saban to get the Mississippi State job in his 50s. I'm telling you, he would have
figured it out.
He would have won. He's just that dude. But that dude doesn't grow on trees. That's why he's got statues everywhere. They had a bunch of guys at LSU before Nick Saban who did not win. Curly Hallman, Jerry DiNardo. Had a lot of dudes that didn't win. And Les Miles won, but then he faded. Ed Orgeron had an incredible season, but then he faded. And this is becoming kind of mid.
Mm-hmm. Last thing here, maybe this is
and Avery's right. Brian Kelly looks like he's been in the White House.
He does. Yeah.
They're just jobs that are hard. It's hard to explain to people how hard they are. And LSU's intoxicating because great tradition, game day's amazing.
Only game in town.
But there's a lot of political pressure, and you got to go do the North Louisiana thing. And those people don't really, I'm just telling you, those people don't necessarily just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go up there. And when you go up there, you have to kind of put on a different hat because culturally it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to deal with all of the pressure in New Orleans to take kids out of New Orleans. And when you don't take them, they get mad at you.
It's hard.
It is a hard job. And you almost have to be a Saban where you just don't care what everyone says.
This is, for NBA viewers, this is fairly big news. Inside the NBA, which features the quartet of Ernie, Charles, Kenny, and Shaq, now on ESPN and ABC starting with next season, 25-26, via a partnership with TNT Sports and the NBA, was announced on Monday. Except when the show goes on the road, TNT Sports will continue to independently produce it, still from its Atlanta-based studios, but it will appear on ESPN and ABC moving forward. So, odd thing there.
I mean, it's the best show on...
Yeah.
It's the best pre- and post-game show in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight for that.
Yeah. So
I will give Game Day credit. I was always critical.
It's gotten better.
They have done some things to make it better. The field goal thing is genius.
Helps.
It's great. Saban's better.
McAfee's better.
As much as I don't really care for McAfee, sometimes he does. He
helps the
show.
Energy of the show.
He does.
No, the worst parts of the show are the ones we're used to on there. It's Lee and Des.
Well, last year that show sucked, and I'm sorry. Y'all can fight me. I will die on that hill. That show was going straight to the garbage. That show was bad television last year. It was not even. I heard people go, "Well, no, you don't understand." I'm like, "No, I do understand. It's a shitty show. They've made it better, a lot better. I'll give them credit." But last year that show was bad. People's like, "It's a placeholder." I'm like, no, it's not. It's 3 hours of people talking, and they were boring.
If you would like to completely pie in sky, judging by the message board, they've looked this up, and we will close here, is all you need to go to Atlanta if you're Ole Miss fans.
Okay.
Auburn to win out.
Okay.
Yeah, easy. A&M and Alabama.
Hughes like, sign me up.
Vandy to beat Tennessee.
That could happen. Probably not, but could.
And then just no other upsets. That's all you need. Georgia to win out. Tennessee win out.
Does Georgia even have a league game left?
Maybe they're done actually because they have a nothing burger and then Tech, so they're good.
Yeah, so they went 6-2 in the league.
Yeah, so Tennessee has to beat. Texas has to beat Kentucky. A&M's got to beat whoever they play. Whatever.
But Texas would have to beat A&M.
I guess Texas would have to win.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, Texas would have to beat A&M
because Ole Miss at that point
they would actually play Texas in Atlanta.
Ole Miss would have the tiebreaker over Georgia.
Yes,
at that point.
Yes, that's all it takes.
So you just need Auburn to win out
and Vandy to beat Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay.
You got a shot on November the 18th. Mathematically.
I'll just say, I don't think all that's happening. But if you told me Auburn beats A&M Saturday,
that's the
buy it.
one that I kind of go,
And if you told me that Vanderbilt
got Tennessee,
slugged Tennessee in a sloppy game,
maybe,
and Tennessee gets a little bit quitty, I buy it.
Yeah, I'm with you. We will look at lines tomorrow with some other stuff. Still plenty more college football coming. So
and in a world, and I'll say this, I'll say in a world where Ole Miss went to the this is the part where I don't know, and I wish somebody would just ask. In a world where Ole Miss or Georgia, okay, let's say this is the part that I'm really interested in.
The third loss.
How does that factor in? Because if Ole Miss lost to Florida, they're completely out, and they should be, frankly. If Georgia lost to Georgia Tech, they're out. If Alabama lost to Auburn, they're out. But if you go to the championship game and lose, that's a third loss, but you're not out.
They say it will not matter.
And so that's fascinating to me.
I know. I'm with you. RebelRub.com, MPW Digital. Take care. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.